Hey, hey. Hello, hello. Happy goodness, it's Wednesday. Woo, I should have looked at myself before I popped in here. But hi, wellness community. Kelly T here. Hope you are all doing well. Today's topic is something I am super excited to talk about because most of my clients and most of the ladies that come to me are in the middle of, well, just starting perimenopause or are in the middle of their menopausal transition. And I have to laugh. I went to the chiro this morning and they did needles on me and I still have the marks and it's been 2 hours, 3 hours actually. But anyways, side note there. But so I wanted to just make sure this topic is addressed a lot in this group since a lot of you are dealing with it. And I know when I was going through my early menopause journey in my early 30s, which I did not know until, I was going through it all. I know how lonely it is. I know how hard it is to see the body change and not understand what to do, like not understand your next step. So just going to dive right in on, menopause, hormones, and I'm going to keep it really, these calls, I really want to keep very, very simple. And just, you guys can always post in the comments below. Let me know what questions you have. And of course, I offer one-on-one consultations as well. So, which all those links will be posted here in the comments. But typically on average, the average menopausal transition for a female is 7 years. Some can go up, some women can, be shorter, some can go all the way up to 10 years, but your average menopausal transition is 10 years or 7 years. And during these 7 years, you don't know what the heck's going on. Your body is just shifting. The things that you did do are just the things that they're not working now. And you're kind of going through it as like, what the heck's going on? What do I do next? Why is what I was doing in the past not working for me? So the primary thing is we got to make some changes during this transition, and nutritional changes and exercise changes are the first places that I start with all of my clients. Not saying your nutrition is bad, but it does need altered to fit what your body is responding to and what it needs. So I have clients that come to me, they're like, I'm eating whole foods, I'm eating, I'm getting my protein in and I'm still not losing the weight. Well, we've got to figure out what your new normal is, because it might be something where we need to bump your fats a little bit, we need to bump your protein a little bit, or maybe we need to pull back or bump your carbs. So each individual client is completely different, and you are too. And it's just like everybody's built different, everybody's going to need something different. So that's why I'm a big component of, if you do a program, especially like the Faster Way, if you're a Faster Way client of mine, I customize it to what you need, because yes, the program is amazing and I believe in it, but everybody's body responds differently, which is why I kind of keep my groups really small. So quality of nutrition, what you're doing as far as exercise, those things for sure matter. We want to make sure that we're getting 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight, not where your body weight is now, per ideal. And I find that, and also, decrease sugar, eliminate, alcohol where you can, try and reduce the caffeine. Those are all things that'll definitely help some of your weight loss and menopausal symptoms. And consistent movement. That's always one too. So that kind of all goes in line. But all of that, if you're like, I'm on it, that's exactly what's going on, I'm doing all of the things, it's just not moving, then those are things that we want to look at more of like an individual approach and kind of talk through some things. We know, especially as you navigate menopause, that belly fat happens, the weight around the hips, a lot of that is, we don't want excess body fat, especially we don't want the visceral fat at all, because that does cause inflammation. And if you have inflammation in your body, then we all know that that's going to have a direct effect on our hormones as well, and a lot of other things. So we want to make sure that we keep that at bay as much as we can. We also know calories in, calories out is not for everybody. I know some influencers will be like, oh, it's just like calories in, calories out kind of thing, but maybe that's why they're influencers and not practitioners. That is not the golden rule anymore. That is It is great for people in their 20s, 30s before the peri transition. Yes, calories in, calories out works, but not anymore whenever you have hormonal changes. And that's looking at your gut microbiome. It's looking at what hormones could be off and all of those things. So, so if you're trying to lose weight and you're doing, you're watching your calories and lowering them, that's also one of the things that you should not be doing, because we know that we need to fuel our hormones with the right macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbs, so that we support the metabolism and give it the energy that it needs. So, we also know that as you're navigating those gut hormones, gut microbiome and the hormones, they shift. And that's also why, a lot of us store fat where we don't want to, around the waist or the midsection. So the average weight gain is, I think they said 12 or 15 pounds during our transition. And, some of you are probably like, yep, I know it. I know for me, mine, I can go up and down 10 pounds like nothing. If I look at a burger, I feel like I go up and, so we're all in that phase of life. We just have to be a bit more diligent and honest with what we're doing. And it's not fun, but it's part of where we are now. So, I do have some clients that are working every single day towards a lot of things and doing all the right things. And I always just make sure to tell them, it's not you. You're doing everything right, because as women, we want to say we should be doing something, we're not good enough, we're not, or whatever. But that's not the case. What the case is we need to figure out internally what your specific body needs. And we look at hormones like cortisol or leptin and ghrelin, things like that, that's insulin response. We look at those things to see like where the miss is on that, especially if you have insulin resistance, which is pretty typical for peri, even menopause. Those are things that will hold the weight. And even if you don't have any form of diabetes or anything like that, it's still something that a lot of women in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on are struggling with. So, improving dietary restrictions, making sure, we're getting the right macros, like I always say, is key. Leptin, we know, is created in the fat cells. So it tells our brain when it's full. Super important to have, to have all that balance is what I'm saying. So where was I going to go with that? Leptin. We also know, it's funny how I lose my train of thought, because I'm like, oh, I can go here now, I can go there. We also know that there are specific tests, this is where I wanted to go, that your doctor can run. But some doctors do not test all of the things that we need tested. For example, cortisol, we know is one of the master hormones. My primary care doctor only tests the average cortisol, whereas when I work with my practitioner, we test my cortisol throughout the day, so we can kind of see, is it high throughout the day, instead of just taking the average and looking at that. So just know that if you are working with a doctor, you might want to kind of look at more of the integrative approach to see what those numbers truly are, so that way you can just have a solid, like if your cortisol is high, especially at night or maybe in the afternoon or something like that, then those are things that we need to look at and make sure that we're bringing that down, because that's going to store the belly fat as well. There was something I read the other day. What was it? We lose 5% of the metabolic rate. Yeah. So 5% of the metabolic rate per decade when we are in menopause. So another important piece is we've got to be focused on strength training as we age. Gone are the days of cardio. I know all of my women, all of us back in the day, we were cardio junkies. We didn't prioritize strength training as much as we should have been. But now we're getting smarter. We're understanding that strength training is going to support our metabolism. It's also which entails, will help that weight loss. It'll help burn calories when you're at rest more than a cardio session will. So just know that, a good strength training program would be what I would prioritize, especially if your cortisol numbers are pretty high. you don't want to be cardio junkying it right now. You want to kind of keep your body in more of a relaxed state. Those are the clients that I focus on. Definitely strength training, but not like max repping, not going all in, just maybe doing some lighter weight, incorporating some yoga, Pilates, different things like that are calmer for your body. It's not necessarily going to build muscle and give you that physique that you want, but it is something to help, at least bring your body back to that calm state. So you're not stressing it out even more with the 5-mile run that you're going to do, or 3-mile run, or whatever. So, anyways, I hope that I threw out some information that definitely would help. I know one of the questions in the group was, what if your hormones are balanced and you are still not seeing the weight come off, which was a great question. There's still so many things without doing a one-on-one to kind of work through things. There are a lot of different things that could be happening, and it could be something as simple as deficiencies, like where your deficiencies are, toxic overloads, like do you have too much of something, maybe a certain heavy metal in your body that's kind of throwing a lot of things off balance. What your gut microbiome look like? Do you have, yeast overgrowth? Do you have bacterial overgrowth? H. pylori, anything like that? Maybe, parasites, things like that. Are you doing the same thing over and over again? We need to make those adjustments, because your body is smart. I know for me, usually 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I have to make some changes. And because I plateau, and that's most people. So if you've been doing the same thing, the same macros, same meal plans, same caloric intake the entire time, it's time to, shock your body a little bit, to like give it something different. So it kind of, it's like, okay, I'm ready to get moving again. So metabolic adaptation is 100% key on why sometimes we just don't move, and we got to keep guessing. We got to keep the body guessing. It might be going from strength training workouts to a faster paced strength training workout, maybe adding in some HIIT, or maybe pulling back the HIIT, things like that. So it's always hard to say, hey, this is exactly what's going on, because there's no, I don't have the whole full picture. And I know the person that asked, I know her very well. So we'll get the full picture and work through that. But, so there are a lot of things that could be happening, but internally that your doctor's not running or looking at, or things like that. So anyways, guys, that is all I wanted to touch on here with the weight gain, hormones, menopause. Of course, Wednesdays are Wellness Wednesday. I will make sure to bring you something good that has to do with hormones, menopause, weight gain, all of the things. I do have a faster rate of fat loss round launching on Monday. This is the perfect program, and everybody knows that I say this. It is the foundational program. If you're struggling with menopause, if you're struggling with hormones, if you're struggling with getting the weight to come off, then 110% the 6-week faster weight program is for you. We learn what your body needs, how to fuel it, and we make some changes throughout the program to make sure your body doesn't get complacent, so that we're always getting the best results. And we have clients that do very, very well and have seen phenomenal results. I'm not going to give numbers right now because I don't have them all in front of me. I don't want to just throw out a number, but this particular program, the workouts come with it, 30-minute workouts. You can do at home or at the gym. We practice working through a meal plan that's, inflammatory foods that we get rid of are the gluten and the dairy. So we practice that. Super key also, if you're going through menopause, to try and avoid not only sugar, alcohol, gluten, and dairy are also good culprits too. But we also practice intermittent fasting, which helps put the body at digestive rest, so that way it can rest and restore and rebalance the hormones. And then the carb cycling strategy that we practice is so that we burn fat, build muscle. That's the bottom line. And those are key things that we want to do as we're navigating midlife. So I've coached this program now for 5, maybe 6 years. I don't remember. I think I did 2018. So it is something that every single one of my clients, I have them do. And then we move into my wellness program if that is the next step, if we do need to look at hormones and all of that stuff. So anyways, if you're interested, I'm going to drop the link down here below. And of course, post your comments. Post your questions in the comments. And thank you so much for giving me, just if you're watching this, giving me some time, for watching the replay. And we will come at you next week with some other fun information. Bye, guys.